Hey there, everybody. Amy Posadas with Transformative Health 180. I'm coming at you going over the MyFitnessPal tutorial today. And there are a lot of things that I like about it. I think it's a very useful tool, a very available and cost-effective tool. But there's some things that I would like to tweak to make it accommodate to your own lifestyle. Now, keep in mind, it's not for everybody. If you get overwhelmed with tracking any food or what you're doing, then it's not going to be the first step for you. But if you can kind of bear with me for a couple of weeks and then track what you are doing as far as the food, general amounts is with portion sizes. You don't have to scale and measure everything, but you're looking at the protein size being the size of the palm, the carb size being the size of the fist, and then the fat size being the size of your thumb. And that kind of goes over to the fist being about 4 to 6 ounces of meat, about a cup as far as the carbs, and about 2 tablespoons with regards to the fat. Or if you have nuts, like raw nuts, then it would just be like the small cup of the hand. So that way you're not getting overwhelmed with measuring things, but you get a better sense of the portion controls, which are going to be huge. And then also just get an idea of the macros that you tend to gravitate to. Like I used to gravitate towards the carbs and the fats. Well, I still do, but it gives me a better idea on how to scale back, or if I'm going too fast on the carbs and the fats, then I'm realizing that I'm not balancing things out as appropriately, and that's going to affect my energy level, my mood. It's going to affect how I perform in the gym as well, not to mention overall life. So this just helps for me to see patterns, cravings that you have towards certain foods as well. And then that'll allow me to pick out the substitutions to make it more effective and more unique to you. Let's get started. Okay, here we go. So if you are new to MyFitnessPal, then this is what it's going to show up like on your phone. And you just click to sign up. And I'm going to sign up with an email. And we'll say lose weight. We'll just put in some random stuff. So we'll say lightly active, female, here we go. And then, yep, live in the United States. Oh, need a valid zip code. We'll say our person weighs, go weight. Okay. So these are just general apps, or entering information for them to basically figure out your macro percentages for you. I strongly recommend that you follow mine and not theirs, because it will help to get you to where you want to be faster, and it'll decrease some of your frustration and feeling hungry, and then also stabilizing your mood and energy. So hopefully I can make this. So you just put in your email, you put in your password, and then you click to the next screen. Hopefully this will all work for me beautifully. Yay. Okay. Activity motion, it doesn't matter, honestly. They're asking for additional things, so you don't have to do anything. You can just do the basic is what you want. So now this is a third attempt to try to get me to get something else. It is free, this app. If you want to upgrade to the premium, that's fine, but you do not have to. So I'm gonna X out of that. So the activity levels, this would be like the regular part that you would go into after you've signed up for MyFitnessPal app. This is just a regular day. From here, if you are on an iPhone, you would follow it this way. If you're on an Android, then where that little bell is at the top left corner here, which goes to the notifications on the iPhone, there's going to be 3 bars for the Android, and that's going to drop down your menu that's going to look like this. And that's where I want you to go. So you tap on that, and then you go to the nutrition, and you go to the tap on the blue part, and then tap on the goals. And we're going to change the setting for the calories and the macro percentages for here. And I have to backtrack this a little bit. Okay, and then you're going to tap on the percentage. And then as this goes up and down, that's how you're going to vary the percentage. And because it's the free version, you're not going to be able to get the exact amount, but you'll be able to get at least a general vicinity of where you need to be. And this bottom right, it says 105%. That needs to be green at 100% in order for it to let you go further. So that's where we have these. And then you have this little check mark at the top, the mid top, and then you're just going to check mark that. And it should allow you to change your percentages. From there, you're going to go back to the diary. Okay, and we're going to add, if you are not sure what percentages to put into the macros, there's a site that I have, a macro calculator on my website at www.transformative-health-180.com, and there's other questions, and you put in your height, your weight, your own specifics as far as if you want to gain weight, maintain or lose, and then to the degree as the rate, intense, moderate, and then from there you'll get percentages as far as the numbers, and then you can go back to what we just did on the macros and put those settings in there. Okay, if you're going to add food, you just tap on the plus sign. You could search for a food, let's say apple, and it'll pull up a bunch of different apples. Say I just have like a regular apple. You can either have, it's going to continuously want you to go premium, but that's okay, you don't have to. So I just have a cup, and generally 1 apple is a serving size of a cup. And then say I had some cashews. Helps if I spell it right. And then if you're not sure what the 40 grams are, you can tap on that, and you can go down to serving sizes that you're more familiar with, whether it be an ounce or a pound, however it is. All right, so generally a couple of grams of nuts are what you're looking for in regards to the small indentation of your hand whenever you have your hand cupped, or about the size of your thumb is what you're generally looking for. So that amount of serving would be what you're looking for when I'm figuring out, okay, 3 grams of nuts for the cashews, just in case you're wondering how I got to that. And then say we'll have like an egg. And then put that in there. That's interesting. So just push search on egg, and then different eggs will pop up. Just the typical large egg. And that's just a small example of what a snack or a small breakfast would look like. You can also say you didn't want the full egg. Say you wanted just egg whites to add to it. You can do that as well. And then, again, not sure about the grams. You can put it in whatever type of measurement is most effective for you. It doesn't have to be exact, it just needs to be approximate, so that way you can have a general idea as to what you're putting in your body and how it's balanced or not. So this brings you to an example of a meal or a snack. And you can see at the top where the calories are minus the food, and then the equal remaining amount. Now I point out the calories, but that's not what's important here. I just wanted to just show you that it sections off kind of what each meal that you take. What's important is that you go to the nutrition and you go to the nutrients, and then you're looking at the protein, the carbohydrates, and the fat. Again, it's the macronutrients that you're concerned about, not the calories, which are the protein, the carbohydrates, and the fat. And then as you'll see, the goal, that middle part, the middle numbers, it's 138 for protein, 77 for carbs, and 41 for fat. And when you look at what you have left, I'm trying not to switch too many screens, sorry. No, I'm on. So when you look at what I have left, I had, for example, 6 grams of fat for that particular meal, so I have 35 grams left for the rest of the day. I have 21 grams of carbohydrates for that meal, so I have 56 left for the day. And then 40 grams of protein, and then 98 grams left for the day. So it just kind of gives you a snapshot view of where you're going for the day. Everything else you can pay attention to, but to be honest, it's going to get overwhelming to track every single thing that they have listed here. So really, at the end of the day, just focus on the protein, the carbohydrates, and the fat. From there, we can decide what you're hitting and what you're missing, and how we can strategize to get you to meet your marks. So let's go back to the diary. And then as the day goes on, continue to put your food in. Is it really horrible if you have everything on the lunch and nothing on snacks, or if it's flip-flopped or whatever? It's not. Just know that if you don't have breakfast, lunch, and dinner filled in, that it's going to cue you that, hey, you haven't had lunch today. Would you like to log your lunch in? And just keep that in mind. When it comes to the exercise, if you had received your macro percentages off of my website, then you can take note of your exercise, but I don't want you to log it in here because it's going to mess up the macros for that day. And you're already getting that from the numbers that I'm giving you off of the website. So keep that in mind. The water, definitely you can feel free to track your water, but it's most important if as you're voiding through the day that it's a really light yellow as far as the color. If you're having a clear urine whenever you're voiding, then you're probably drinking too much water. If you're having anything darker, like a medium yellow, then you definitely need to increase your hydration intake. This little section down here with the notes, I like that because especially first off, I would put B for breakfast, and I would put like the time of the day that I had breakfast. And then if I had a snack, I'd put the time of the day when I had the snack. And then if for some reason I would go later and I would miss lunch, and it wouldn't be until dinner, and say it's 6 o'clock and I'm like starving, because normally I would have already had a lunch, a snack, and then dinner already. So one, I need to make sure that I take note that it had been 8 hours since I'd eaten last. One. Two, if I'm crabby, that's why. Three, especially if I have a drop in my energy and my mood, that's going to be another explanation as to why I'm not feeling so great. But I also have to look at, am I more likely to binge since I am so hungry? So keep that in mind whenever if you've gone long periods without eating and you're not used to that, keep in mind that you need to pay attention to what you're putting in your body. Make sure you get a big old glass of water before you eat, and then try to make sure that you're eating vegetables first, because that'll help to fill you up and to keep you from getting a bunch of food that you're going to be craving instead of what you actually need. That goes to the psychological component too. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. When you're done with this and you go to the complete diary, it will generally show you like, oh, well, okay. Well, normally it would show you, if I had enough logged in here, where you would be for, if you continue to have a day like today, then you would be like this in like 5 weeks or 6 weeks or something like that. Don't really pay attention to that. It's not incredibly accurate, and it can kind of throw you off. It's kind of like weighing yourself on the scale every day. It's not the best tool to measure your success. The best tool to measure your success is by going to the nutrition and looking at those macros to see, okay, if you were within 10% of what your target marks were for protein, carbohydrates, and fat, that's going to be a better indicator of if you had such a great day or not. Obviously, your mood and energy level too. And then, like I said, you can take note of your workout, and I would put that actually in the exercise notes. Say you did an hour of walking, or let's see, 40 minutes of CrossFit. You can even put like 40 minutes of core strengthening, however you want to word it. And you can also put in the notes with food on how you feel too. So if it was like ate all meals, so we're assuming that we had breakfast, assuming that we had our snack, assuming that we had lunch, and this is just an example to give you, not that you have to have it like this, but this is just what helped me starting out until I could get it so it was without me thinking about it. So I don't log my times in anymore, but I definitely needed a time when I needed to do that. So you could, like, an example of a note would be like, felt sleepy, helps if I spell it right. Okay. Or if, maybe it was a stressful day or something like that, you can also note that, because those are going to be notes that go back to, if you're able to hit those mark and be able to repeat those good days, then you can also take notes as to what meals that you liked and what meals you were able to hit those days. And then when you're looking at those days when maybe you didn't hit your mark, then you're also learning from those experiences and making note of, okay, well, I had a really stressful day. I missed 2 or 3 meals. I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, or maybe there was a party or something. So there's a lot of different things that you can kind of make note about as to your success, or maybe not as much meeting the marks that you had anticipated originally for that day. So that's where I really like the tracking. The other thing too, for example, say like you do great that day. Okay. And you get, let's see. Trying to talk and type at the same time, and I'm not that coordinated. The other thing is that they pull up food from the regular stores. Close the door. They pull up food from the regular stores, and what you can do is you can add in extra stuff too. So like if you get a strawberry chicken poppy seed salad and you get an extra serving of the chicken, that'll pull up as well. But you have to obviously put that in there. And then from here, all right, going back to the diary. Okay, so that's just an example of, so somebody had breakfast, they had lunch, and then say they weren't very hungry. Everybody craves broccoli at dinner time, right? Totally being sarcastic on that. Okay, that's just a real rough draft version of that day, okay? Going back to the macros, we're looking at, okay, I was within 10% of what I needed that day for the protein, the carbs, and the fat, okay? There might be days when you are so far under on one of them, but you're so far over on another. This will help to capture what you can improve on and help to fill in those blanks. And then if you're coordinating that as well with energy levels and mood, then that can help to explain a lot of things as well. So that's why I just want at least a snapshot of what you're doing, because I can better navigate and strategize with you moving forward to stabilize not only your energy but your moods and help to get you where I need to get you. So I think we have everything. Friends. So when you're going to add a friend, you go back to this main menu and you go to friends and you put the little plus sign, and then you can go put in their email, and from there, hopefully this will work as well. It will put in your name, and then send it to them. Yay, it worked. I'm super excited. It doesn't always work that smoothly. Sometimes you have to go back and do it again, and that's totally fine. And then the other thing I want you to look at is go to settings. You're going to go to diary settings, and then you're going to go to diary sharing. And then make sure that your friends can see it, because if you friend me and I can't see it on this setting, then I'm not able to see what your diary is, so that when you ask me questions, I'm not going to be able to pull it up as effectively. So whenever we're in person, that'll work. But if you're far away, then really make sure that you're going to those settings and allowing me to be able to view your diary. So that is basically the gist of things. There's one other thing that I wanted to show you that is pretty cool, that if you are just putting in an actual food, they have this barcode that you can scan your food into. So for example, I have this barcode here, and I'm gonna scan Halo, which is well, it is called Halo Top, and it is a protein ice cream. And so as you can see that it goes in there. Okay, and here's another food that we're going to add. So this is the Bay coconut water, but actually I wanted to show you this before too. And this is the Halo ice cream. If you're an ice cream lover like myself. So you just scan the barcode. Hopefully this will work. Maybe I was showing it too much stuff. There we go. And then it's really cool because it just puts all that stuff in there for you. So again, as you can see, I'm negative 73 calories. I don't care about the calories. I care more about looking at the macros with the protein, carbs, and fat. And as you can see, it went over a little bit with the protein, which isn't a huge thing. The carbohydrates are up a little bit more, but that was definitely from the ice cream. But in comparison to the fat, what normally, like compared to regular ice cream, it's just, it's really, really good. So this Halo, if you are an ice cream lover, you're going to definitely want some of that. All right. I believe that's pretty good for beginners at the moment. If there's anything that I can help out with, or if you have any questions about, don't hesitate to let me know. It can get overwhelming. Just know that it's a process, and it's about finding things that are going to work for you, not about what works for everybody else. That's where it makes it a lifestyle and allows you to incorporate this and actually sustain it. Do you have to do this forever and ever and ever? No, not necessarily, but giving me at least a 2-week snapshot of what you're doing is going to be very effective, creating those strategies, and then you'll get improvement. And then if you plateau again, then we can take another 2-week snapshot of what you're doing and then go back to the drawing board to get you off that plateau and get you moving forward in the right direction. So thank you so much. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you found it beneficial for the MyFitnessPal tutorial. I hope it gets you started. Try to understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint, and these are lifestyle skills that you're going to be able to apply and gather for the rest of your life. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it is something as we learn and experiment and are able to apply things. And I like to look at this as like building your food vocabulary or your food library, because these are clean food combinations and different meals that will work and cater to your needs and your lifestyle. And that's what's important to sustain not only short-term goals but longevity, to be able to achieve that weight loss, fat loss, because it's not about losing weight, it's about losing fat, and changing the composition of your body and being able to just be more functional and overall healthier in your endeavors with this journey of life. That being said, please do not hesitate to reach out if there's anything that I can help with. Like I said, there's plenty of strategies that I've worked for myself and my clients, so that if you are coming across what you think to be a roadblock, do not hesitate to reach out. You are not alone. I can guarantee you it's just a speed bump along the road, and locking arms together, providing creative ideas and brainstorming is what's going to allow you to sustain and actually achieve those goals of transformation that you are aiming for and are perfectly capable of doing. Not without hard work and commitment and consistency, but completely capable of doing. Happy to help. Take care.